I still got the passion. I just don't feel the excitement of it no more. Like I'm not excited when I write no more. You know what I mean? Like I'm not excited to write, I should say. Like it's just something that I just do naturally at this point because I've been doing it so long in my life that I can't shake it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's therapy or if it's I'm no, I definitely don't believe that is therapy because I know that I've anytime I've written, I've always wrote with the intent of someone viewing it and judging it. Like hopefully they like it. If they don't, they may tell me why not, and that's where I came from as a writer. You know what I mean? Like I always, whether I was writing music or once I transitioned over into writing the novels, like it was always. I'm not one of those writers that is going to say like, oh, I just do it. I just do it for fun or whatever. Like it definitely probably. I'm not even gonna say that it started as a hobby because the minute I took on writing anything outside of academically, like school or whatever, the minute I start doing anything outside of that type of writing, I immediately was thinking of the writing turning into some type of business and finance for me. You know what I mean? Like as a career or whatever or job. So I never took the approach of I just like to write for fun. You know what I mean? Writing became fun for me as I delve more deeper into it and then experiencing other elements of writing and but when I say other elements, I mean really just bumping into other creators, like poets and other musicians and things of that people that's in your field because for me at that time like it really enhanced my skill level because I was in a time period where you wanted to learn like the artists were seekers of knowledge and looking to grow from their predecessors, the ones who came before them or the ones who were there now as they were coming in, like we were looking to grow into at least who they were and then possibly go beyond that. And any field of writing that I came in contact with, that's how I was always thinking, whether it was music or, once I transitioned over into not well, by the time I had started writing novels, I had been writing music for so many years and my vocabulary and just my wordplay was just so I was in tune with it. Like I knew that I had something with words, like I could work words, you know what I mean? And so when I transitioned over into writing novels, I really came from a place of confidence. Like I really felt like it was gonna already be good, or I was going. It was gonna be dope. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, especially once I started reading a lot of the urban novels and things that was coming out, I'm like, oh yeah, this my shit going be right at this standard or better. You know what I mean? Now I had a lot to learn as far as like being a good writer and being a good storyteller. Because when I first came in, honestly, I really just was a good storyteller. I was an okay writer. I was okay, but I was more of a storyteller. That's what held my reader's attention, is the story itself, not the writing of the story. You know what I mean? So, but luckily for me, even with that semi arrogant mind state of just thinking like, yo, this is gonna be good because I'm doing it, and I know how to work with words coming from music. Luckily for me, that, like I always say, I'll be willing to learn, so I'll be seeking out knowledge and information. So soon as when people was reading my joint and it was like, yo, this is good, but you're writing, you need to you gotta learn how to transition better, or you need to have more character development, or show me, don't tell me. Like I was taking that information in. You know what I mean? I was having deep conversations with people about this because I wrote the first joint I wrote. I was locked up. I was in prison, and people was around the prison because in jail people got nothing to do but read. So people was around the prison. They was loving my joint. You know what I mean? But you had some old timers that would come because they saw it, and shout to them like they saw. When I say they saw the gift and the potential I had to enhance the gift if I was given the right tools. So they would come to me and be like, yo, look, this shit is dope, but you got to start doing this. And yo, buy this book right here on writing. So that's what I started doing. I started buying books on writing. I'm locked up. I'm reading now. So I'm getting this information. And that's what really helped me start transitioning into a better writer. I had the storytelling thing down pat, you know what I mean? But the writing is what I had to really start getting into. And, once I got it, it grew my passion. I became more and more in love with writing and words and literature itself. And as time went on, because I was around back when, you really had to make submissions and to to the major companies, like Simon Schuster. Your shit had to be correct. It was really a protocol. Most times you had to have an agent, you know what I mean? Things like that. Like, it wasn't no somebody seeing you online, you done made a post, or, your people are talking about you online, and then somebody will come and be like, yeah, here, somebody, a rep from Simon Schuster's coming, like, yo, here's the contract. You know what I mean? Like, nah, it wasn't none of that. So you really had to put in the work. It was a process, and it was a standard. It was a way that, like, yo, this is how this works. These are the rules that are in place for this to happen. And then as we all know, technology came along and started changing many things in the world, like making things more accessible in all types of areas, like music, entertainment, books, movies, whatever. Like, it just became more accessible. Like, and gatekeepers were somewhat removed, or just they footing wasn't right because they wasn't sturdy on this new ground to really control the the fluctuation in the current of how it's gonna flow. Like, they had to adjust to it too. So, a lot of people start popping in and popping up. And sometimes, man, everything is not for everybody. I'm gonna just say that. Like, I don't want nobody to feel like I'm disrespecting them or saying that they not worthy of anything. But sometimes everything is not for everybody. Like, especially for me, like things like art and all that. Like, you gotta be careful when you let people in, because everybody ain't worthy to be up under that banner. You know what I mean? Like, even that's why you see in a lot of different fields. You'll see. Let's just use music for instance. You'll see some artists. They'll have a hot, like, the song will be on fire. They'll have a single that's on fire, and then they'll drop an album. Album won't do good, and eventually the artist just fade away. You know what I mean, there's so many different artists I can name like that had major hits that we all know, everybody know, and then we just never hear from them again. You know what I mean? It's because they really wasn't supposed to be here in the beginning. You know what I mean? And it was just a moment. It was a flash. It was a flash in the pan. That's what you call a flash in the pan. It happens. You know what I mean? But with the internet, it just became overwhelming. There was so many flashes in the pan that now you can't tell gold from pyrite. You know what I mean? And it just became different. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say the standards change in terms of the industry itself, but the standards of the people changed. And a lot of times in the beginning, like I was upset. So I used to be saying a lot of things concerning, publishing and people who were publishing and authors and publishers, and people not, like, I'm like, yo, y'all about to burn this down. You know what I mean? Which ultimately, to keep it 100, everything I was saying ultimately really is true. Like, right now, today, everything I said, is exactly in the state that I said it was going to be in, like 10, 11 years ago when all this shit started. I said, y'all, if those people who have a foothold in this already, and those of us who are in this and know what it is already, don't start weeding these people out right now, this whole thing is gonna collapse, and ain't nobody gonna be able to get no money, because they're lowering their standards so much that it's almost non-existent. And right now, it's the truth. Like, you look around at the people who were around literature, African American literature, 15 years ago, right? When it was the boom, 16, 17 years ago, when it was the boom. I'm talking about everybody reading, urban books 20 years ago. Authors getting big contracts from the big six. Motherfucking publishers, independent publishers getting distribution deals through the big six, right? Now you look at today. You name me an urban author that got signed to anybody from the big six in the last 5 years that's getting pushed by like because these companies, see, it didn't even, you know what, I was about to say something crazy. These companies didn't fall off. What happened was the readership in the African community, as far as urban fiction, fell off because of the type of content and different things. And then it was just there's a lot of mess going on online. Like, you have readers that have been around this literature thing since it started. They knew authors when they put their first book out, like, veterans. And then they getting on there and they reading this new content. And everybody got their opinion. So some of these people older, more experienced, they giving their opinion like, nah, this book is really, this person might need to. These young people who's not really they online, they curse them out. Oh, this old bitch don't know, and boom, boom, boom. And then every author wanted a 5-star read. Like, oh, I can't believe this lady gave me a 3, or this motherfucker hating her. You start seeing posts like that, and it's like, yo, like, what the fuck? They start running the real readers. So I'm watching all this. That's why I'm speaking on. I'm like, yo, they gonna run the real readers, or the real readers that's investing in this shit. The ones who gonna spend $15 for a book and not argue and be trying to haggle you for your prices and really respect your craft. They're going to run those people off because they on here being disrespectful right in the face. of some of these veterans. Like some of these veterans had pages where these dedicated readers and supporters would be getting cursed out and all that, and they wouldn't be saying nothing. Like they wouldn't be checked. They'd just be sitting there watching it, not saying nothing. I'm like, yo, like, come on now. Like, what do you? And then it just got out of control. You start having people like pissing on veterans, honestly. Like, just like, oh, what? Who you? Like, who? What? You who? Motherfucker, I put out 16 books last year. Like, it was crazy. Like, and then things like that. Like people putting that. That's how you know it's not. Is the seriousness of it went down because who the hell could write 16 books in 1 year? Like 5, 6, 7, 8 books in 1 year. Like, I mean, real strong content, good storylines, everything edited, real thought out plots, everything, character development, plot development, all the strong elements you need in writing for a good book. Who is writing 5, 6, 7, 8 books a year? Not, and when I say that, I'm not saying that it's not happening. I'm saying who. When I'm saying who, I'm talking about who of worthy a worthy stature as a writer, meaning they could take this shit anywhere, Kirkus, anywhere. Like they could sit this shit down in front of anybody that's a reader, and the person that's reading it gonna be like, "Oh yeah, this was a good book. This was a decent book," and look back on the cover to see who the author was. Not at all. It's not happening, yo. It's no way people are putting out that type of content in a 12-month period, eight and 9 times. Like it's not happening. Like you got people like it's just too many people to name that have long standing careers that can't do that and have a far more better education on writing than these authors that I'm speaking about. You know, when that's doing this. So like it's impressive. So when I started seeing all that, and then it was the praise and all that, I'm like, okay. And what I was putting out a lot of information and things, which made it. I made myself look like a negative person, like I'm over here upset and mad and hating. But really, it wasn't that I was hating. I was really trying to lay down a protection barrier for we wouldn't be in this state that we in now. You know what I mean? Like you look at most of the editors, the real editors that were around back in the days, they gone. The book clubs, gone. Like you don't hear no big bust out reviews from USA and them. They gone, y'all. They ain't got time to be playing over here because people dismantled this shit, and now we left with what we left with. But here's where I'm gonna say I was wrong. I was totally wrong in this regard as far as the books that were being put out. There was an audience for that shit, yo. Like whether I liked it or not, whether I liked what was happening or not, there was an audience for that shit. And the reason why I didn't recognize it is because I was just I was in my time. Like I was still thinking, you know, how books were in my time, like shit that you really it had to be some substance. It had to be some content. You know, when authors were writing, they were competing against each other, not literally in terms of, you know, I'm about to go up against this author like the little contest me and Cash is not that, but in terms of they know so and so put out a banger 2 months ago. They know they got to come with that substance and that content. You know, so it was competitive in that nature where people were really putting their food down, dropping that ingredients into the pages and shit. So I was coming from that. What I didn't realize is now it's a younger generation of readers. You know what I mean? and craft wasn't as important to them. And doing like if the story being wasn't written in correct form or wasn't edited or not, it didn't matter to them because it was the story. Like it was something that they could relate to. You know what I mean? It was people that were really writing things that they could relate to. It just probably wasn't in a well written form. And I think that's what made me more focused on it. Like this ain't what it is. You know what I mean? But truth be told, there was really was a market for it. You know what I mean? Like clearly. However, that market destroyed the overall market because these people were selling, even though the market was there, they were selling the content at such low value that it affected the entire genre, which is exactly what I was saying. I was like, yo, if people keep selling books for 99 cents, I was telling even I used to be going back and forth with veteran authors too, because they thought they was safe. Like they thought they was going to be able to survive off their name while all this shit was going on. But really, I've been was peeping that these independent authors and companies that was coming in was already erasing their name from the book. See, that's what they ain't realized. Like they wasn't coming in. At first, they was coming in paying homage. Let me take that back. They was coming in. I'm not even gonna say paying homage. They was coming in tipping their hat, pinching the tip of their hat on the way in, like acknowledging who the people were that were there before them. But once they got in the room, like they was fucking putting their own liquor in the punch bowl. They was spiking the food, everything, like packing up plates for people who wasn't even invited or wasn't supposed to be in the room and coming. None of that, and it started becoming a lot of like I said, cursing the readers out, real supporters, people that would come out and support you, or you put out a t-shirt or a hat. They ain't got time. You don't have to get online and say good morning to these people every day for them to buy your book. Like if you said good morning, it was like, yo, oh shit, so-and-so spoke to me. They felt good about that. See, all this other people, this other shit took away the author's fame too. Like people wasn't protecting their fame. Like running off to all these events. People thought I was hating on that. Like, yo, he hating him because he don't be going to. No, I was going to the events. I was seeing what was going on. I was going. I was seeing exactly what was going on. People were coming out. They were not buying books. They were taking pictures with authors, and it became a more bigger social thing after the book event, and nobody ain't really sell no books like that. Like people gonna try to dispute this, but like I said, I used to be at these events, and if I wasn't there, I could see it online. Like I could see it. We online now, so now I could see it. Not to mention people calling me right while they're at the event, telling me exactly what's going on, play for play. You know what I mean? So, like, I seen the decline. You know what I mean? And so when I was like, yo, don't be run. Because what happened is you run into all these events, not only are you not selling no books, and then you going out socializing with all the readers afterwards, you killing your celebrity right there, because now that you normal. You normal, they just got done partying with you. They done partied with you in the last 5 cities that an event done took place. They done partied with you. So now, when you come out to Indiana to their hometown on a whim, in the middle of the year after you done dropped a new book, they ain't coming out and bringing their friends. Know why? Because they just got done talking to you on Facebook because you normal now. You normal. You think they about to miss their son football game because you coming in town? They'll hit you up on Facebook. Like, yo, I got the book. Sorry I missed you. You know I bought it online. Boom, boom. Like, yeah. That's why I was saying, yo, stop running to all, because especially when you're not getting no bag. You know what I mean? Like I was breaking down the math for people. I'm like, yo, you're going to spend at least $1,000 to get to wherever you got to go. Plane tickets, you got to buy books, you got to have somewhere to stay, you got to eat, you got to move around with transportation while you're there and get back home. It's $1,000 gone. How much money you gonna make? And a lot of times people be like, yo, but I need to get out there and see the people. But yeah, you do sometimes. You know what I mean? When it's worth it. You know what I mean? Big events where it ain't just off the base, like things like the Essence Festival, because you can attract other people that ain't even really there for books, but they there. You know what I mean? When you go to a book event and people really ain't there for books, meaning they not really coming there to buy like that. They really just want to come out and meet you. It's more so like a meet and greet. I ain't coming to buy. Then chances are you're going to take a loss. You could go somewhere else. You could go somewhere where it ain't you go to like real talk. You go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade and set up a table, man, and make more money than you will at a lot of these book events, because it's just about being where the people are at. You know what I mean? And you're not compromising your celebrity by going out, socializing, and allowing people to see you in a different light from what they seen you in the first place. Like now they seeing you drunk, you tipsy, you getting high, you doing things that they normally wouldn't see, because they don't be seeing you inebriated. They know you for your craft, your work. But now when they look at you like, oh, this guy's just like my homeboy, or this chick's just like my homegirl, and it just become normal. You become normal. Like people normalized it, and it took away from the entire genre, yo. Like real talk, the entire genre suffered, and that's what I was saying. I'm like, yo, you gotta stop this now, because you don't think that you so big right now. Like this ain't gonna affect you, because like I said, I've seen these independent publishing companies and the authors really running circles around a lot of these vets, because they was putting out so much content so quick, even if it wasn't good. Like they were all what they were starved for attention. They wanted to talk to people. They wanted to be online all day. See, the veterans were sitting back on this chair, like not really only talk to the people that would talk about their shit, or they wasn't really moving. I was in every group. I'm moving around. I'm moving around with the current. So I'm seeing everything. You know what I mean? And now everybody took a hit, yo. Like people could front. I mean, it is what it is, man. But all you gotta do is just look. Who who got a major book deal? Name me anybody that got a major book deal that's writing urban fiction in the last 5-6 years. And somebody done kicked out put some real money behind them. Right.